Good afternoon. My name is Nicole Schmidt and I'm from the Altoona job site and I currently am the project engineer. Here I'm today to talk to you about automating the closeout documentation transfer to eBuilder. The main reason I'm here today is Turner had 3 things we wanted to align with and collaborate with on Facebook with closeout documentation. First was aligning with Facebook and their utilization of eBuilder. Turner took this initiative to develop tools and work with Facebook on providing easy access to putting all closeout information there at the time of turnover. Second was creating a efficiency. This reduced the work and upload that people either from Facebook or Turner needed to do to eBuilder or other aspects such as a hard drive or Dropbox account. And lastly was the automation. By creating an automation and scheduling a sync, this added more time to our Turner staff's use to be able to work towards solving problems and providing solutions. In the end, at turnover, all design documents, OFCI procurement information, commissioning items and checklists, equipment, background information, all closeout documents, warranties, O&Ms, as-built, BIM models are all on eBuilder at turnover. Now you're probably wondering what time and commitment will this take by you and your team. Because we have started this process already and have lessons learned, the intent is that we can train up other sites and provide efficient use of your time. Therefore, learning how to work eBuilder, I would guess about 4 hours maximum. eBuilder is a fairly easy system to utilize, and how we utilize it shouldn't take long to learn. And second, there is creating your mapping document, which Facebook provides. This is showing where on your either Procore site or company's hard drive or server location where the documents will be accessed. This is another about 4 hours. It may take 8 hours at first, depending how you have your folders and files structured. Next is working with Facebook on the file structure and ensuring eBuilder has all the folders and files that you need to begin your synchronization. This is another 4 hours with anticipation of a meeting or 2 with Facebook and the general contractor. Next is creating the actual links in eBuilder per your mapping spreadsheet. This can take up to 8 hours just because there's repetition in links. However, the intent is setting up your folder structure easy, that subfolders are all synced, and you don't have to take as much time to create new folders. Lastly, the item is checking reports and auditing the status of everything on eBuilder. This may vary. It's really up to how each team works and maintains their folders and documents wherever they live. Last but not least, this reduces any time that may have been utilized to download items to a hard drive or Dropbox. It also reduces fees associated with them and produces an efficiency for all. Keeping with the time, we're going to talk about timeline. 5 months prior to substantial completion, I recommend holding that eBuilder training and making sure everyone knows how to work the system. Next, you want to start the mapping spreadsheet and making sure your folders are in a line and you know the tying of the folders. I will show the mapping spreadsheet here in a few slides. Then when you're 120 to 90 days out, it's highly suggested that make sure anybody who needs access to eBuilder, limiting it only to a couple or a few, have that access and that the folder structure is correct per the agreement between Facebook and the general contractor. Then you want to do the actual physical mapping to eBuilder from your source of your mapping locations. At 60 days out, here is where you should check in again with the local Facebook ICM team and general contractor to make sure everything is understood, all parties are on the same page with the mapping and where things are going into what folders. And then last but not least, start downloading the closeout documents as they are closed and approved, ensuring that they will get to eBuilder in time. 30 days out, actually start transferring those documents. Maybe you decide to do it earlier, but nobody is really going to start looking at it until 30 days out and after substantial completion. Be sure to check your counts. Your folders have different files in them. Make sure they match up on eBuilder as well as your mapping source location. At 5 days out, here's where you really need to make sure that everything lives on eBuilder. And those last few days leading up to turnover, that all the items that are being final reviewed prior to turnover are getting downloaded and input into eBuilder, even if they're not fully approved. We've talked about the timing, so now we'll go on to your mapping options. The two options we were provided with was Procore or our company local share drive. Procore has its pros and cons. To use Procore, we had to create more folders, and to us that was additional work, as we would be saving the information to our local company drive and then be adding it onto Procore again. So instead of creating new folders on Procore, we have decided to use our local company drive. The advantage of Procore is everything lives in the cloud, so you have access to it similar to eBuilder for anyone on the project. However, you can permission who actually has access. It also provides backup documents for Facebook, and they have access there as well. The company local drive, you may have potential IT concerns and you want to make sure you address that with your IT department to make sure you can transfer documents and that firewall won't be put up. Now we'll actually talk about the physical mapping. On the mapping spreadsheet that will follow, there are 5 folders that the general contractor is in charge of making sure is updated. And it may not include every single subfolder, but these are the 5 that pertain to general construction. Number 2, the design folder. Number 3, OFCI procurement. Number 4, construction. Number 5, commissioning. And number 6, closeout. You will map every line item to every folder to your location of Procore or the sourcing local hard drive. Next up, you're ready to download Syncovery. Here's a picture of Syncovery, as you can see, and you're going to use your advanced mode, and you're going to perform a synchronization backup now. Here is the physical mapping spreadsheet. As you can see, the eBuilder folder structure, as identified by Facebook, is on the left-hand side. The eBuilder status of the general contractor, whether that's scheduled or drag and drop or complete, is in the middle. And on the right-hand side is the location of where you'll find all your documentation, whether it's Procore or your company local drive. To continue the mapping, in order to do that on Syncovery, you'll have Syncovery open, and you're going to create a new profile, as you see by the plus sign. Create those profiles, type in the profile name you want to do. I recommend using a folder number and what it is, say folder RFIs to eBuilder RFIs. And here you will choose on the left-hand side the source of where it's coming from, and on the right-hand side the source of where it's going to on eBuilder. With that, the folder structure browse is for any documentation on your local company drive, or the internet is if you're using an internet source. For the eBuilder, you would use the internet source. After that, you would confirm the settings by clicking on the profile, and here you go for the internet source. You see the user ID I've put as my name. That would be whoever has the information and access to eBuilder for you all, their password, and then you would follow the URL and make sure that folder path aligns. After that is done, you'd click OK, and then you would actually start the sync by clicking the play button. When you're doing the sync, if you have your whole list of items here, you would just double click the item or press play. When you do that, you see it creates a list that's populated of where everything's coming from, that it's seen on the local driver Procore, and it's intent to transfer to the right side, which is eBuilder. Here I would like to note that if you have an updated file, say you received a newest submittal and it was the same name and it's now been approved, you say over it, eBuilder understands and reads that it's a newer date and time stamp and will replace the older one on eBuilder. Once you click Start, Syncovery is underway, and you can see the tracking of how long it takes to actually sync. Now the one step that I would highly encourage, because this is really where it produces the most efficiency, is actually scheduling out your Syncoveries. With that, seeing the same screen as your profile settings, you would go down here and use the Schedule tool, Advanced Settings, Schedule tab. With that, you would say how often you want to do it. Maybe it's every 7 days, or it's every week, or it's every 2 days. It's up to you. You can set the time as well. Ideally, you want to do it for the same day of the week, and you must have your laptop on and available with access to the internet. You also do not want it to go to sleep on you, because that will stop the sync. If you only want to select a certain number of files and folders to sync, you would select the Choose Folders and Files. And with that, that would bring up all your folder structure of what you actually want to schedule for that sync. This is the way to do multiple folders at the same time under one profile, instead of doing, say, 10 individual files, profiles, and syncing them individually. So this helps speed up the process. When you actually do the schedule and it performs the sync as scheduled, here are the different steps. Here it is without actually performing the sync. Then down here it's showing that it's building that list that we showed 3 slides ago, this list. And then the last step is the actual sync, where it's being done and it's running, and then it's complete. So now you've learned how to actually perform your mapping of your documents, the Syncovery, and syncing of the documents, as well as scheduling to create efficiencies. Last but not least, whoever has done that mapping and scheduling will most likely want to share those profiles with other people in your company. Therefore, you can export or import the profiles. Here are the steps for exporting. You just go to File, Export, Export Checked Files, and be sure to save the INI file. To import, it's the same process, but import. File, Import Profiles, and select all the profiles you would like to do. So in closing, a few lessons learned, and some I've already mentioned, is make sure you have a reliable internet source. Make sure the computer is on that is performing the sync. Turner had purchased a Syncovery license, a 5-pack business license, so 5 different individuals could have access and perform all the functions needed. Discuss with IT any potential items that may come up or issues with performing and utilizing a program. Make sure it's supported by them, or you have the abilities to support yourself. Audit the folders continuously, as sometimes people accidentally save documents to the wrong folder. Create separate folders with subfolders to align with your Facebook mapping sheet. And last but not least, sometimes the length of a file path may become long, and so you need to watch for that as well. And an error may show up, but you can still fix it and continue with the syncing. Finally, I would like to say thank you. This would not have been possible without the support of Facebook, both at the local and program level. Thank you particularly to Russ Dotson, our local ICM in Altoona, construction manager. Thank you to Tim Straub, our ATN QA/QC manager, Sean Sella, the program QA/QC manager for Facebook, and Will Bauer, who's the subject matter expert with Closeout and eBuilder, who works alongside with Avi. All of them have been such a pleasure to work with and have provided many open conversations and collaborations to help this be a team effort and a success on the Altoona site. At this time, I'm sure they will take any questions, and I'd be happy to answer them.